Welcome back to JOJ. It is January 29th, the last Sunday of the month. It's kind of crazy. It's already flying by so quick.
Yeah.
We hope you joined us the last couple of weeks to kind of get into our groove of this new process. It always takes several episodes before we finally are like, oh, hey, we've got it.
And it could be by the end of the year.
Could be. So today's title is Walking by Faith. The Bible verse is 2 Corinthians 5:7. We walk by faith, not by sight. Imagine you've gone through a difficult experience in your life and you're fearful of what the future might hold. To encourage you, a friend says, you can do it one day at a time. Remember, just walk by religion, not by sight. Walk by religion. To a biblically literate Christian, the very sound of that phrase is off-putting, to say the least. You probably know what Paul really said in 2 Corinthians 5:7. We walk by faith, not by sight. But even the idea of walking by faith seems contrary to common sense. If we walk by religion, we would at least have a tangible structure, things that are seen to pin our hopes on. Buildings, traditions, schedules. What is that?
Liturgies?
Liturgies, okay. Ministers, and the like. If we walk by faith, we have only the promises of God, but we also have the evidence of things that not seen. We not only have God's promises, but we also have the evidence from thousands of years of history that He has kept His promises to those who trust Him, and He will keep His promises for you. If you are facing an uncertain future, and who isn't, remember to walk by faith, faith in the God who promises He will never leave you nor forsake you. And then the little quote is, walking by faith means being prepared to trust where you are not permitted to see.
First thing that jumps to me, last week you were talking about God always being with us.
Yeah.
And that's the verse that is mentioned here is, that He'll never leave you nor forsake you.
Yeah.
So it's
and I didn't pre-read, so.
No, she had no idea about that coming up. When reading through this, and you chuckled at it, as I did when I read it of the friend, it says, just walk by religion, not by sight. I mean, it's a very because we know the verse that we walk by faith, not by sight. But you wouldn't even hear anybody like I can't even picture a situation where a person, a non-Christian, a religious person necessarily, would be like, yeah, just really, really, hold on to your religion right now. They're gonna say, they're gonna hold on to your faith, hold on to your, we believe you can get through this. It's not make sure that you prayed 4 times today and you stood and you kneeled and you kneeled and you stood. And I'm not poking fun. I'm not throwing darts at anything else. I'm just saying that's faith outweighs our practices so much more so as a Christian. That's what's important to us.
Yeah.
So in there, kind of in the middle, Jennie read part of it, but then she read it, but then she didn't reference where it came from there of Hebrews 11:1, where it says that. It says, but we also have the evidence of things not seen, which is coming out of Hebrews 11:1. The full verse there says, now faith is the full verse there. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. So that really ties extremely well with 2 Corinthians 5:7. We walk by faith, not by sight. Our faith is in what we hope for. It's not our eternity. We've not seen it. Mm-mm. We don't know exactly what it looks like. We've not seen Jesus. Unfortunately, we weren't alive during His time. So everything that we're doing is truly by faith. So it's really important to do that. But that our faith in action in that now faith is confidence, what we hope for, and assurance, about what we do not see. And then the other verses that are mentioned there come from a little bit further down in Hebrews. Hebrews 13:5, but I also feel like 6 goes really well with that. Let's see. It's funny because it actually quotes it actually has written in here Hebrews 13:5, but I think it's actually saying 6, isn't it? Because 6
Yeah.
is no. Okay, sorry. Okay, so it's got Hebrews 13:5 mentioned in here, but if you go to your Bible and read the whole thing of Hebrews 13:5, at the end of it is the "Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you," which is a quote from a psalm. It comes from Psalm 118 verses 6 and 7, but the full part of Hebrews 13:5, the top part of that, it says, "Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have, because God has said," the psalm, "Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you." So it's really important, that just to understand that He's never going to leave us, He's never going to forsake us, He's always going to provide for us where we need, and that's going back up to the rest of that verse, keeping your lives free from the love of money, be content with what you have. But then also verse 6, so going on beyond that. "So we say with confidence, the Lord is my helper, I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me?" That, I think, really puts it all in perspective, especially in this world that we live in, is that I'm with the Lord. He is where my confidence is. I'm not concerned about mere mortals and what anything else that they could possibly do to us. So, yeah.
So yeah, and then you go. I mean, like it's funny. All 3 Sundays have kind of tied into the first one. Or I guess really it was the 15th on the first Sunday of January. But being content, and then the next one is, of God's promises, and then walking by faith. But it all is kind of tying back in, and maybe that was the author's. Maybe that was his plan. Of being content, and whether you're don't have a whole lot or whether you do have a whole lot, but just being content and thankful for where you're at with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and the last verse I want to share, and then we'll kind of start to wrap it up. I like going through all
just making poor Jake go back and forth.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jake.
I just enjoyed going through, going through all the verses and kind of seeing where they've pulled different places from, and then trying to read and get all the context from all of it. But so with these, and just kind of the way that I'm personally studying this, if you want to do the same, you can. If you just want to read what's on the page, certainly do that as well. But I like on the top verse to read the whole chapter. And so that whole chapter is 2 Corinthians 5, but verse 1 in that, and this is a verse that I always love anyway, and so it was, I just wanted to add it in here once I'd read it, but yeah, 2 Corinthians 5:1, "For we know that if the earthly tent we live in is destroyed," that's this body right here, not the house that we're living in or where we're at right now, "we know that if this earthly tent is destroyed, we have a building from God, an eternal house in heaven, not built by human hands." That goes again to show you the temporariness of what we are currently. It's a tent. You hopefully don't live in a tent forever. You want to live in a house. You want to live in a building. That building we're going to get is from God.
Yeah.
It's not made by man. And that it's going to be in a place we can live for all eternity.
Yeah.
So.
And be perfect.
And be perfect. Yeah. But my note I had written on here to kind of sum up, what it's talking about, where the friend asks or tells you just to walk by religion, is that I'm very glad that I don't trust in a man-made religion. That I trust in God who made all men. That's who we put our trust in as Christians.
Yep.
Yeah. You want to read the verse again?
Sure.
Okay.
2 Corinthians 5:7. "We walk by faith, not by sight."
All right. Well, we will catch you all next month, and we're not going to do a live. No, because
we're in 5 different places.
So. So all of February, probably March. We may do some live sporadically here and there, but the first Sunday is not going to be. We realized that was not capable of that during
not in the next 4 months.
Yeah, not in the next few months. So we will catch you back here next week on JOJ.